Cade Cunningham. Why is he that consensus number one?
So Cade Cunningham is really the classic modern-day point guard when we think about size, 6'8", 220, and his ability to manipulate pick and roll. Now, when NBA teams look at Cade Cunningham, they see a guy that plays the pick and roll three ways. He has his man he reads, then the next read is the drop man, the big, the guy in help coverage, and then now as a result of being able to do that, he's now able to get downhill and create 2-on-1 and 3-on-2 condensed half-court situations. That's where you see the lob, the dunk shot. He has a really good stop and pop game. His pick and roll floater is very good. He has got that size and strength to finish, and obviously extremely unselfish as well. So Cade Cunningham, from the full package standpoint of manipulating pick and roll in the half court, which you need in the playoffs, as we saw, he has it.
So who's the comp? He's good. If he goes number one overall, who's the comp in the NBA right now or ever?
Well, I see Luka Doncic. I see a lot of that. Unselfish, same size, similar length. Pedigree for Cade Cunningham is elite. You know, when we think about Doncic, he was 18. He wins the EuroLeague MVP. That will never happen again. Cade Cunningham has been the number one player in his draft class for the last 3 years. He has maintained that throughout a lot of pressure, a lot of really good players coming up behind him, and he has been that guy. And like Doncic, he's able to control the game without scoring, and also when he has the ball in his hands, he doesn't need to have that elite quickness. He has that great pace and three-level scoring that you need from an elite point guard.
You mentioned like Luka was like supernaturally confident and mature. And you think Cade fits into that profile?
I do. I think he is the full package. And when you talk to people around him, they say, great kid, worker, wants to be great. Now, we hear that a lot during the draft.
Yeah.
But Cade Cunningham is the full package in terms of what you would want if you're the Detroit Pistons.
Okay, so tell me this. Tom Gore's team, the city of Detroit.
They need it.
We need
11 guys named Jalen in this draft, and Jalen wants Cade.
Right? No, but honestly, with talking about Cade, like how much of a difference maker is he? If they get him right now, are we talking playoffs?
No, not playoffs, because that roster still is depleted.
Yeah.
But he now gives you the path 3-4 years down the road of elite young player. Guys will want to come play with him because he's so unselfish. And I think he's the kind of player and human that Detroit needs. You know, the Pistons haven't had for 10, 15 years since the, you know, Chauncey and Rip and Tayshaun, they haven't had a franchise
the glory
cornerstone.
days,
That's Cade Cunningham, and that's why he's been so talked about for that number one pick for so long.
All right, so the Lions, back to the Lions for
Luka,
3 or 4 years.
That's quite a comp.
Yeah.
Lions is another story.
Yeah. Jalen Green, you have him going 2 overall to Houston, or most people do.
Yeah, and Mike Schmitz is right on that. I think with Houston, what have they loved for so long? They love wings. The NBA needs wings. Jalen Green is an explosive 6'5", 180-pound wing that can attack downhill. We talk about three-level scoring. He has it. He really elevates, too. You know, we talk about below the rim finishers, at the rim, and then above the rim. Jalen Green is an above the rim finisher who really elevates, and he also loves the big game. If you go back to the G League bubble in the playoffs, this guy got better every week. And the final game, which they lost, he goes for 30-plus and dominated. And he was the best player on the floor for a lot of that bubble against grown men, NBA-caliber players. That's Jalen Green.
Elite athletic wings are really, we're in a point guard lead, we're in a big lead.
We need wings.
And yet the elite athletic wings are the guys you want, right? Who is the comp?
T-Mac, Kobe. That's the explosiveness with this kid, though, because with those guys, when they got out on the open floor, they were dominant, and you knew what was going to happen. You look at T-Mac highlights here, young T-Mac, young Kobe. That is exactly the type of talent that Jalen Green is. And as he gets older and fills out, gets up to 190, 200, he'll be able to get that T-Mac kind of mid-post game, that Kobe patented low-post game as he gets stronger.
Kobe, this is a lot for me to take right now.
Now, I'm not saying he's Kobe and T-Mac, but when you ask around the league about who does Jalen Green remind you of if he's able to reach his ceiling, those are the types of names that you're hearing.
Wow, it's a lot.
Okay, let's jump down the board a bit. Jordan, tell me what you know about Scottie Barnes.
Scottie Barnes, this guy has a lot, from an offensive standpoint, maybe the most exciting player in this draft. Great footwork, 6'9", 7'3" wingspan, extremely long. Didn't shoot it super well at Florida State, but really good mechanically as well. Leonard Hamilton, their head coach, has talked about Scottie Barnes as being one of the most unbelievable players he's ever been around. And Scottie Barnes is also that kind of kid with a three-level ability. You see the stop and pop game, the ability to get to the basket. He's only he's 6'9", he's only 18, 19 years old. He might grow a little bit more. He'll get more into that frame. With Scottie Barnes, you're getting right now an NBA-ready offensive player.
Is the reason he's not even higher in this draft because of the shooting? in today's NBA game, if you can't shoot it from the outside, you're devalued a bit, right?
100%. But listen, I heard one scout said he has Giannis-like qualities. So Giannis, obviously, Max, still working on his shooting, improved. Scottie Barnes has good mechanics, way better mechanics than Giannis did at that age. But you can start to see now, I don't think Scottie's in that class of athleticism, but the length and the ability to manipulate, look at that beautiful behind the back ball screens, that's Scottie Barnes. Also super intelligent and a really unselfish playmaker.
So what's the comp?
I think it's Giannis.
It is Giannis.
It's a smaller version.
Giannis.
Smaller version, but that's the type of, that's why Scottie Barnes for a long time, you heard maybe he could go 1, maybe he could go 2, and you mentioned the shooting, but mechanically he's sound, and he's talked about, I feel I've already become a better shooter, and I was told in workouts he shot the ball a lot better than he did during the season.
It's weird because it's like rebounding is the thing you think that like effort, you just get better, right?
Rebound is a skill though.
Yeah, it's a skill, but shooting, actually, guys do improve it.
Yes.
Right? More than even rebounding, it seems like, when it should be the opposite, but somehow it's not.
Muscle memory, reps, 500 threes makes a day. That's how you get better as a shooter, and that's what he's been doing.
Yeah, Ben Simmons is working on that.
Ben Simmons got to just shoot it in the game one time.
Yeah, exactly.
Lastly, James Bouknight. Why do you like him?
Oh, my goodness. This is one of my favorite players in the draft.
Yeah?
Now, I sound like a broken record because I love all these kids.
Yeah.
James Bouknight, 6'5". He is one of the high risers. I've been talking about Bouknight for the last 3 months. He comes back to stores for his second season and has an explosive year. One of the premier scorers in the draft. He's been unbelievable in workouts. A couple teams told me one of the best shooting workouts they've ever seen. And you see Jamal Murray there. That's the type of combo guard that we're going to see with James Bouknight. He's a little bigger than Murray, a little more explosive, but the pick and roll ability, the ability to really play 1.5, both guard positions. That's Jamal Murray, and that's what James Bouknight is, and that's why he's really gone from 15 to 20 up into that top 10, and why he's one of the most coveted guards in this draft.
How tall is Bouknight?
Bouknight's about 6'5".
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.